Hello and welcome to my crazy world. So today's video is going to be kind of fun for me. If you know me and you watch this, you will totally get it. If you don't, then just welcome to my mind. So I'm one of those people that I dream every night. And it might be things that happen during the day. It might be just different ideas. I don't know. There's always something. And a lot of times it ends up being unrelated things that get all mashed up together, and then I wake up with some kind of idea that I want to work on the next day. So recently I have been doing all this paper craft and mixed media and fun kind of stuff, learning all kinds of new things. That's why I started this channel, so that I can share it with my Facebook page. And I also recently, because I'm on have a Facebook page, you get those pop-ups that say, you might be interested in joining this group or whatever. So last week I joined a group called the Paper Outpost, and it's for junk journaling people. And the owner's name is Pam, and she does like these little challenges every day, or a little quick tutorial how to make something and then a challenge with it. Anyway, she's got a huge following, and so people are always posting just their junk journal related projects, or if they found a certain thing at the thrift store or some kind of deal they want to share with everybody. Anyway, it's all for junk journaling people. So the other day, somebody had posted that they had found this beautiful crazy quilt at a thrift store. I was so jealous because I love that kind of stuff. If you know me, you know that. And I love fabrics and lots of pattern and color and all that kind of stuff. And then someone else had posted some kind of cute little heart, and I don't even remember what they made it out of. It might have been with fabric, might have been with paper. I don't really remember, but I just thought it was really cute. And I also got a Johnny Was catalog that day in the mail. So, of course, I went to sleep and woke up with this idea that I just had to start yesterday. So, if you saw my last video, you know that I had shown a bullet journal kind of thing that I was going to do that was like a planner kind of thing. And I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do with it, but one thing I know that I wanted, because it's kind of set up into weeks, is that any of those little things that I've been learning, this was one of Pam's challenges, this was another one of the little things, I wanted to kind of make miniature versions that I could tuck away, so that whenever I have a new idea or I'm working on something, this is kind of a journal of that. And then if I'm looking for an idea or kind of just want to, take a trip down memory lane and see what I've done, then I can do that with this book. So I moved on to the next week, which is this week. And so I ended up using that project that I'm going to show you as part of my page for this week. So what I basically did was I made a Masterboard, and I just learned what those were. So if you do this, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, my Facebook page, it started out being jewelry. So, those people that are following me along on my paper journey here, they're learning right along with me. So basically, a Masterboard is, you take, in my case, I took it just an 8.5 by 11 piece of copy paper, and then you just collage on it. And then this is your master. So you could then take this to a professional printer, or if you have a really good printer at home, and print the paper out onto different materials and then use those in your projects. So I had done one that's like book pages and music pages, and I had done one that was a collage, mixed media kind of thing. And then the one that I did yesterday was from my Johnny Was catalog. So I love sewing, fabric, pattern, crazy quilts, vintage, all that kind of stuff. And I've really kind of missed sewing for a while. So I decided I wanted to take all of the fabrics in his beautiful clothing and use them to create my own paper crazy quilt. So I thought, originally when I did this, I thought I was going to do little crazy quilt hearts, and I probably will. But as I woke up in the morning, I was thinking, I want to make it a Masterboard because I'm going to just love this. And then I'll have it to use for lots of things. I don't know if I can bring myself to cutting it up, but I'll be doing more of these because I just had so much fun. So basically all I did was I took my catalog. Where is the catalog? I used a Johnny Was catalog because I love all the fabrics. And then I just took and tore out just randomly little pieces from all the different fabrics. You could use a garden catalog or anything if you like flowers and do a similar kind of thing just with the little pieces. So basically I just took an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and then I used a glue stick and just started to, tore up all the little pieces, and I've used them all now, so I don't think I have any to even show. But you just tear them up whatever size. Some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. And as I kind of started building it, I would tear some. I used because they were torn and it was a magazine, all my tears were white. So I went ahead and used my vintage photo distress oxide and my blending tool, and then just kind of real quick just to knock the white down. You could also do that as you're going and gluing down if you want, just to get the edges, because it's magazine paper, so it's really thin. So it might be easier if you glue one down and then kind of do the edge just to then it's attached to something. So basically I just antiqued them all first, and then I just started playing around with laying them out. And as far as laying them out, I mean, it's a crazy quilt. So if you've ever done any kind of that kind of sewing, you kind of know how it works. But it's paper, so it's so forgiving. You just glue it on anywhere. I do kind of like to try to balance out my color because this is, just a master, so it's going to end up being cut up too. So once I glued everything down really good, then I scanned it into my computer. Just at that stage, and I don't have one to show you because I only did one, but I did it at that point because in case I knew I was going to do stitching on it, but in case I wanted it to just be plain, I would still have that as a masterboard too. So I actually scanned it into my computer in color and then also in black and white, because I thought with so much pattern going on, it might look kind of neat in black and white too. So I went ahead and had both of those first scans, and then I took and I put it in my sewing machine, and I'm hoping I get it close enough for you. I did a couple of different stitches that I just have a real cheap sewing machine I use for my paper stuff, so it doesn't have a lot of stitches, but I just did zigzag and then this kind of little raggedy looking one. And I didn't do it everywhere. You can see from the back, I kind of just tried to do it evenly over the whole page so it would be balanced. But I mean, you can take the time and do each one if you want, but I thought that might be too busy. So once I have that finished, then with the stitching, I scanned it into my computer again. Again, I did it in color and in black and white just so I have the option. And then my printer is not the greatest. I actually am in the market for a new one. But I went ahead and just with some different things that I had, I went ahead and wanted to print it out because I was too impatient to go and take it to a printer. I think I'll do that. I haven't even tried to do any of my masterboards at a printer yet, but I want to do that. I don't know how expensive it'll be, but I just think their quality of their color and the machines and the paper and all that might be really good. Because I'd like to do, like, this would be a great book cover. But I want it to be on good paper to do that. Like a heavier, I saw one video, and I think I'll put a link to her masterboard if I can find it. But she kind of this where I learned how to do masterboards. And then she showed different papers that her printer had put it on, and they had put it on one that was like a heavy cardstock that was glossy. So it was a good weight for an actual notebook cover. So I'd like to kind of do that with this one. But anyway, I just went ahead and I did it on photo paper, and I thought it came out really good. You can actually see that they're fabrics. It came clear enough, and I thought the color turned out pretty good. I mean, you almost can't tell the difference. It's a little bit washed out compared to the actual magazine paper, but I thought it turned out pretty good. And then I did it on just regular cardstock, and it came out really faded. So I don't know. I tried also printing it on cardstock, but telling my printer it was glossy paper to see if it would make the color bolder. That's kind of outside my technical expertise. I'm not really a techie person, so I don't know how that works. But anyway, it came out really faded, so I'll use it for something. I just wanted to kind of do some samples. And then I also did it on this, let me find a piece because you won't believe this. It's cardstock. This is kind of a messed up piece, and I don't know if you can even see it in the picture. But it's like glitter. It's not heavy glitter, but it's white, but it has kind of like a glittery opalescence. I don't know what they call it, but I decided, I had just grabbed it because I couldn't find my white cardstock. And I printed it out, and it came out all faded, but like this gold. It's like gold in all the colors. So that's kind of different. So anyway, I'll use those for scraps of something just to do, but I wanted to do an experiment. So once I had my Masterboard done, then today I decided that I was to the point where I needed to do my next page. This is this week's just little bullet calendar. And then on the other page, I had done just a place to be able to tuck things. And so I kind of wanted the same thing, but for this week. And on this one, I turned it into like a gratitude journal card. And then, like I said, my little samples. So for this one, I went ahead and I took part of I don't know if you can see this. I took part of the photograph, the one that I had printed out on the photograph. I did that for my background. And then I actually took the magazine that I had gotten all this out of. And this, where it says Stitch in Time, this was actually the actual magazine page. But I just liked how that sang for what I wanted to do. So I actually cut out a little random shaped piece. I had to cut it weird because there's a person here, the model, and I didn't want her in it. So I just kind of cut around it, and it kind of looks like a drapery to me, which is funny because I used to make draperies. So that's kind of a nod to my past. So then it's real thin because it's magazine paper. So I actually just stuck it on to another piece of cardstock so it would be thicker so that I could use it as a pocket. So I made that weird shaped pocket first and stitched one of my stitches that I used because this is supposed to be a reminder to me about what I did so that if I want to take those ideas in the future, I've got like a sample. So I made the little pocket, and then I had this little flower embellishment, which I just loved. So it's kind of like a tie back kind of thing. And I don't know, I just liked how it looked. And it's a sticker. So even though I've now stuck down part of my pocket, it was so big and open before, it's actually kind of nice because now I've got like a couple of tuck places that will hold things better. So my plan is to like do my little gratitude page or a little quote or something card and stick in there. And then I wanted to use some of the ones that I had, the practice printouts. So this background one, the little file folder I made. And I made this file folder this week because somebody saw a tutorial I had done on the little file folders and she just loved them. So because I hadn't started this book yet and that little file folder thing is in a book that I gave away, I wanted a reminder about how I did that too. So I went ahead and made myself a little file folder out of the printed one to make a place to tuck things. So I'm going to show you how to make that today too, just because if you haven't watched the old ones, then you didn't see that. So it's a quickie, so I'll show you how I made that. And then I did have some little scraps. When I was kind of playing around, I was just sticking all the little torn pieces that I hadn't used in here. And I thought, no, I should go ahead because this is a photograph of my Masterboard. Make a little mini Masterboard. So I like everything mini. So I ended up, these aren't photocopied. These are the actual, you can see the stitching. These are the actual magazines. I had some scraps left. So I did just enough to make some little bookmark style, but they are Masterboards. And then I did the stitching and everything before I cut these up into pieces. And then I went ahead and stuck them on another piece of cardstock. So that way I can write on this, or I can glue another little saying or something on it, which is what I'll do. And then I just cut out little hearts. I had a couple of little scraps left, so I used my little heart punch, and I just cut out some little hearts. I have a punch for this. I didn't do that by hand. And it's this little one by Recollections. Oops, it's a small heart. So you can get that. I think I bought this at Michael's. So now I just have these little mini cards that can go in my book. But this is so me if you know me. So anyway, I just thought that I wanted to share that whole idea with the crazy quilt in magazines. So just to show you real quick that little file folder again, in case you didn't see the other one. Basically, I took a little rectangular scrap. This is just cardstock. You could do it on patterned ones too. I'm just doing it on white because it's easier to see. And then I have my Recollections cutter that has the scoring tool too. And so basically, I want my file folder to have that tab at the top. So I'm just going to fold it. And you could score this first, but this is just easy to eyeball. Okay, so I know where my little fold is because I'm going to cut the back side some little strips. So first what I did was I'm just going to eyeball these, and I'm just going to score all the way on both sides. This is just going to make it easier to get my fold straight. Okay, so this is the back and this is the front. So I want to have some little foldovers to make it look like one of those expanding file folders. So I'm going to cut the back 2 strips. So on my cutter tool, I'm going to find that little line. And my cutting tool has a little notch where the blade is, so I know I can only cut there till the little seam, and then I don't cut too far. And on this one, it's this part I need to cut, so just to that crease. And then take your scissors and cut at an angle towards the front so it's easier to fold that corner. Okay. And then you have your scoring mark, so it makes it really easy to fold this. Now, at this point, if I'm going to do the antiquing, I would do it now before I glue it all together. And then I also want to make that little notch, and I want around my corners. So I'm going to use my little corner one. I'm going to use the medium size one. That makes that. And then my little round punch. This is also from Recollections. And it's easier to see where I'm making my notch if I have it upside down. So that makes my little finger notch. Okay, and then I would just glue this, and I use my little, you can use any kind of glue. You could use glue stick. I like this fine line applicator tip. It just has Mod Podge in it. So you just glue along that edge, and then I use my little clips here to hold it, and it dries really fast. So once it's dry, then if you want to stitch, sew around it or anything, you can do that. But then it just makes a nice, cute little mini file folder like I did here. So this one I had antiqued, and I did do stitching around it, and then just put a little sticker and a little thing because this was my happy project. So if you liked that, give me a thumbs up. And I'll try to remember to put any links of anything I might have mentioned in the description. And if you want to see what I'm working on any given day, because it can vary, is you can follow me on my Facebook page, and I'll put that link also. So have a great rest of your day. Now go make something. Bye.